Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Yo.
Now, stand back for your own safety.
Steve, what's up?
Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Steve. Where Paulie at?
Here we go.
I'm checking out. I will respond to you, but I'm done for the week. I'm done.
Steve is my favorite part of the show. How's that?
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Check for sound.
Pleasure to be on there talking with Paulie, man. He's a good dude.
I'm an idiot. I'll just shut up and let you talk. I was trying to help.
And shout out to Tupac.
3, 2, 1, and
This is Orange Nation.
Well, hello, Paulie and Steve.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Check. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte as we welcome you into a Monday edition of Orange Nation. That means we'll have Mike McAllister on the show at 12:30. Football's still going on. Remember that? Yeah. Football back from the bye week. Fran Brown will have his live press conference at 1 o'clock. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. What's up, Paulie?
Not much, Steve. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. You asked as I walked in the door how my weekend was. My weekend was fine. My Monday has not gotten off to a great start.
Do you have a case of the Mondays, Garfield?
A little bit. Yeah, on my way to class this morning, my car would not start. Battery died. And two things. You always tell me that this show is not a priority to me.
Yeah.
I was prepared to leave my car abandoned and come into work. I was
abandoned where?
I was trying to get around.
I was in the
driveway.
That's not abandoning.
I'm saying I was going to
take an Uber to work.
I was going to put that on the back burner, and I was going to come and do the show anyway. But the second thing is, I just want to say thank you to Jeff and Chris from AAA. They came. They didn't really have enough time to change the battery, but they did it anyway, and they knew that I had to get on with you. Chris said when he got there, he said, you have to go deal with Paulie today, don't you? And I said, yeah, do you think you can do this in 20 minutes? They're like, we'll make it happen. Oh. So they changed the battery. They got me on my way. I got here in the nick of time. So thank you to Jeff and Chris. They listened to the show. We appreciate you listening.
I'm glad.
And I made it here on time.
Congratulations.
I made it here on time.
Look at you guys doing your work properly.
For you.
Thank you, Steve, and Chris, and
Jeff.
Yes, them too. All of you did your job tremendously today. Congratulations. Here are your flowers.
I was going to say, I want flowers for getting here on time today.
There you go. Congratulations. You got your flowers.
Thank you.
Quick question for you there, Steve. Yeah. How'd you sleep last night?
I did okay. Okay. Yeah. It's going into Monday. You know, I've got class on Monday, so it's usually a short night going into Mondays. Yeah. But no, I'm good.
I don't get how your battery dies in 2025. I'm not going to judge you on this.
I didn't have any notification, nothing. Just car would not start.
Okay.
Didn't drive it.
Didn't drive it
much this weekend, but
have you checked your oil lately?
It's not an oil. Yeah, I actually just got my oil changed not that long ago. No, it was definitely the original battery. It was time.
I'm just making sure you weren't ignoring the important stuff.
No, I just got the oil changed.
All right, Steve. Syracuse basketball.
Yeah.
Ready to talk? Are you convinced? Are they for real? Are they? I got caught up in the social media, Steve. It's a roller coaster ride being a fan that has a big mouth on social media. They were struggling in the first half, and it was, whoa, here we go again. Fire red. Oh, we're going to the Final Four in the second half. I know nothing about this team. I know they're better than last year, and they're good on defense. And they've beaten bad teams. Yeah,
I mean, you said, are you buying into the team? I'm buying into what I've seen so far. Now, to your point about are they, a top 20 team? We don't know that yet. We don't, and we'll learn more as they go out to Vegas. I am very much encouraged by what I've seen through these first three preseason games, not preseason games, regular season games. It feels like the preseason to some degree because, we're going to learn a lot about them in Vegas. But, yeah, I'm very encouraged by what I've seen. Yeah,
it's just it's been a while. It wasn't rock bottom, as I've said multiple times before, but it was the point when Syracuse struggled in early season games. But they also, Jim Boeheim's philosophy was to schedule teams that were going to go to the tournament from lower conferences.
Right.
Buffalo was good back then when they were scheduling them, Colgate, etc. Now the plan is to play bad teams, and that's what everybody in the ACC is doing, and Syracuse is pounding on them, and so is everybody else in the ACC, and they look like a legitimate ACC team right now.
Well, it matters what the committee, how the committee, I guess, goes about, putting the field of 68 together. And we know that they use the net rankings now, and we've seen other conferences manipulate the net rankings. Really, the Big 12 was the first to do it. SEC got involved. It's worked for those other conferences. And the ACC really across the board now has made it a concerted effort to, work the system the way that some of the other power conferences have done that. And that's not to say that Jim Boeheim's strategy was poor. Back then it was a good strategy.
Yeah.
It was... and the changes have been made over the years about, do you take into account the last 10 games and how a team is playing? Or, there's been different metrics that have been used. And right now, this is what the net looks at. It looks at efficiency. And so these early season games, Syracuse by, playing against a Colgate that gives them trouble, that hurts your resume in the end. Even if you win the game, it ends up hurting your resume. So they're doing what they feel like they need to do to get to the tournament and to improve their rankings. I do feel comfortable saying that this is a pretty good defensive team. Like, I think this team's going to be good defensively regardless of who they play. I'm not saying they're going to win every game, but I think this is a pretty good defensive team.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would say about the defense is it is aggressive, and these guys are going. We're getting the 40 minutes of it. The first half was a little lax. I don't think the defense was a problem in the first half. I think they struggled rebounding long rebounds. There was a possession where Drexel got 4 shots in a row and hit a 3, and it was because the rebounds were long, and you've got to get long rebounds just like you got to box out and get the ones close to the rim. But they struggled with the long rebounds in the first half, and they were a totally different team in the second half, Steve. I think Drexel hit 1 3 and 7 total shots in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive. I mean, they held them to 20% shooting in the second half, and that was really aided by a couple of baskets very, very late. I mean, they were in the teens for much of that second half in terms of field goal percentage.
Yeah. I texted you and Tim as I was about to go down and get the coach's interview that they had only given up 13 points in the half, and then they rattled off like 4 more points in the next 2 minutes. So it was crazy.
Yeah, and I think that, that's one of the things I learned this weekend about this team, regardless of the opponent, is that they had another gear that they could go to defensively if they needed to. And they did need to, right? I mean, it's a 5-point game at the half. They got out-rebounded by double digits in that first half, and you're like, okay, what's going to happen from here? Is this thing actually going to go down to the wire? And they found that next gear. Now, they're not going to be able to do that, against better teams, or if they do find that other gear, it's not going to result in a 43-18 second half, obviously, because those teams are going to be better. But I thought it was good to see that when challenged, they could buckle down and they could get after you defensively, and they forced a lot of turnovers. They had a lot of points off turnovers. Tim pointed this out to us prior to the show about turnovers. Syracuse had 3 games all of last year where they forced 15 or more turnovers. They've already done that in all 3 of these games. They had only 3 games last year where they had 9 or more steals. They've already done that to this point in these first 3 games.
They're also blocking shots this year.
They are. And again, is this sustainable? I don't think they're going to, force 15 or more turnovers in every game this season, obviously. But I think that this is how they want to play. And I think against most teams, this is how they will play. They're not going to necessarily force 15, but they're going to turn you over. They're going to try to turn those turnovers into points. I think they had more than 20 points off turnovers again, third straight game where that has happened. So that is a very encouraging sign. And
they had 20 points off turnovers.
Yeah, and they've done that in all 3 games, 20 or more. Defense travels, right? And so, if you have a game where you're not making your shots, can you hang in there defensively? And you look at the best SU teams from the past, the answer was yes in those cases, right? And when they went on those surprising runs in the NCAA tournament, made to the Final Four, it was why? It was because they had that 2-3 zone as the X factor, and they could stop you defensively even if their offense wasn't necessarily there. This team really gets after you in the man-to-man, and I think it's a good sign. Does it mean they're going to the Elite Eight? Of course not. But I think this is a huge step in the right direction from where they were.
Yeah. The other thing is you just can't tell from these games. Like Monmouth is actually picked to be a better team than Drexel this year, so it could be a more difficult game. Well, we'll see how they play against them. And then the problem with the first game in Vegas is you're going from the bottom feeders to the absolute top.
Yeah.
So you don't know where
number 1 in Ken Palm.
Yeah. So you don't know where you stand. And
unless it's closer, you win, and then I think you do know where you stand. But if you lose by double digits, I would agree with you in that. Okay,
I think there'll be 10-point dogs going into that game. And then you go from there and you see how they do. But it won't affect it. Like I will take more from the next 2 games, Kansas and Houston. Kansas and whoever they end
you're
up,
saying after the Houston game.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's where you'll figure it out. And it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Like it's you can't, like last year I got killed for saying let it play out. You got to let the good play out too. You got to make sure they're there. And now I'll probably be called negative for saying it. But you just got to let it play out and see. Cayenne Anthony has been great, but let's see him play against Houston. Let's see him play against Kansas. Let's see how it translates to Power 4 basketball.
I had a basketball coach growing up that always used to say, don't get too high, don't get too low. And that's basically what you're preaching right now. It's never as good as you think. It's never as bad as you think.
It's funny to say, like, the guy was a Hall of Famer, and his interviews immediately after games, whether they won or lost, are the same for Jim Boeheim. Yeah. And I'm sure he grew into that. We've seen the videos of his early career press conferences and kicking chairs and whatnot. But you just got to stay level.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's sound advice. I think, fans are going to get excited. I think it's okay for fans to get excited, right? It's been a few years since they've been able to be excited.
Yeah, this is what Syracuse is supposed to do against these teams, and they haven't done that in the past few years.
So therefore, I think it's okay for fans to feel good about the start to this season. Like, it's okay to feel good.
No, it is. It's okay to feel good, but just remember where you're at.
Yeah.
It's not, they haven't beaten anybody
Correct.
Yet. They've done what they're supposed to do. Like you did today. When your battery was dead, you came to work. And like the guys who actually get paid to fix your battery, they did their job. That's exactly what they're doing. And now you just keep going and get better. It's a work in progress.
It is a work in progress. And Monmouth coming up next. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock tip inside the Dome. And, from there, you assume they'll take care of business. Monmouth, you're right. They just had Seton Hall down 7 at the half. Seton Hall came back and won that game. It's, that Monmouth team is, you're right. They probably are the best team that SU's faced to this point. Now, Syracuse should still go out and win this thing by double figures.
Yes.
And you figure once they take care of business, then it's on to Las Vegas, and we're all going to learn a lot Thanksgiving week and beyond. Remember, they play Tennessee when they come home from that. So that 4-game stretch is going to tell us a lot about where this team is. That's our opening drive, brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero. We'll open up the phone lines if you want to check in, 315-437-7644. We are back after this on ESPN Radio.
John Frost & Sons Furniture and Flooring are proud supporters of Syracuse football radio coverage. We are the pulse of the Orange. ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
I would say,
serious crash
in terms of
injuries,
things we know, Cayenne's been better than expected. I think William Kyle has been better than expected. I think the defense has been better than
big
expected.
Money and big results.
You know what else is crazy? It's like Bryce Zepper's getting minutes and people
focus on getting better. Rideshare, trunk,
coming
motorcycle.
Yeah, remember when Bryce Zepper came and everybody's like, well, what are they getting this dumbass for? He sucks. and he's getting 15 minutes.
And he's done some good things. He's done some good things.
He doesn't hurt you.
He's been more impactful, I think, than Luke Fennell to this point, which is, I think, surprised a lot of us.
I'm not irrationally negative about the fans. I'm just saying, pump the brakes on everybody's got to get fired, and pump the brakes on, oh my God, this team's great. You know? I'm not ready to say he threw a perfect game yet. Let's see him play against real competition. I don't think people get how bad the teams they're playing have been.
I didn't think Drexel was bad. I mean, they're not good.
Bottom of their conference.
No, I know. Partly because literally the entire roster is new, but I didn't think they were a bad team.
I'm only
I thought they were better than Binghamton and Delaware State. You would agree with that, right?
I don't know. I'm not ready to break that down yet. I am just going to South Bend, coming back and doing the post game for you guys for the big games. So Pat won't call in. That little D3 kid is good. Yes, go ahead and call me out for something. I love it. I'll tell the story on the air, Kevin. Yeah, he won't call if I'm there, though. Yeah, I always do watch parties because I'm a team player. I'm a company guy. I don't think he's ever called when I've hosted the post game. I am saying this is what they should do. Like, it's only 3 games, though. They haven't played anybody.
Boston banana and coconut cream pies. And don't forget our best kept secret, our cheesecake. Holland Farms Bakery and Deli, serving smiles and pies.
Let's go get a win, and you could get excited if they go get a win in Vegas. Who cares? We'll find out at 1 o'clock who starts against Notre Dame. I did not find out who the artist of the day was until like 10 minutes before the show, so we're just going regular bumps. And I heard you guys just vetoed what we went with on Friday anyway, so it's just...
Don't lump me in. It was not you guys.
Do whatever we want.
It was Mario and Tim, and they...
Yeah, I leave for a day, and everybody gets...
How did you even find out about it? I'm sure you didn't listen.
Tim narked on himself.
Oh, okay. That would have been the only way, because we knew you weren't listening.
He said he wanted to hear Mario's favorite band, or Mario wanted to hear his favorite band.
Do you know anything about those guys?
No, who cares about them? They weren't the artists of the day, so nobody cares.
Well, Mario very much cared.
Well, good for Mario. OAR, is that who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. That's a music that everybody loves to hear. Yeah, my favorite band. That's not an artist of the day. That's being selfish. Oingo Boingo has never been the artist of the day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I felt like early on we made them.
No, why would we? No, I think they played one Halloween. We played one of their songs on
Gotcha.
It's just selfish.
Okay. I just didn't want you to lump me in. I'm going
to come in tomorrow and be like, oh, here's Oingo Boingo artist of the day. Even though we voted on somebody else, but I want to hear what I want to hear today.
You've done that before. Yeah.
Not without your consent, Steve. You're my vice president.
Okay. Fair enough. 315-437-7644 if you'd like to check in. We will talk a little bit of football in the second hour, but we're mostly talking basketball today. And if your expectations have changed with this team at all. And, I'll be honest with you, Paulie, I'll take the bait here a little bit. I think the ceiling is a little bit higher. I'm being careful how I phrase this. I think the ceiling is a little bit higher than I thought.
I don't know, because I don't know how it translates. I've got to see it against Power 4 teams multiple times before I could say the ceiling's higher. Now, do I think that they are firmly middle of the pack right now in the ACC? Yeah, I do. But are they a tournament team? I don't know yet.
I don't know if they're a tournament team yet either. But I think I think they have the potential to be. I think that's a no doubter at this point. They have potential.
Are they better than Duke? Are they better than North Carolina?
No,
we
don't know that. And I told you I saw Louisville. I'm very impressed by Louisville. Very impressed by Duke. North Carolina has a big win early in the season over Kansas. Virginia has looked really good. This isn't about those other teams. This is about Syracuse.
Well, you got to play them.
I understand, Paulie. I'm saying that the ceiling is definitely the tournament is part of the ceiling. I think that the ceiling is a little higher than I thought going in. I thought they were going to be better. I thought they were going to have a chance to make the tournament. I still think they have a chance to make the tournament. I think their ceiling's a little higher.
I don't know because I don't know. Paul Skibby. That's a great quote. It's a factual quote. I got to see it against Houston. I got to see it against Kansas. And then we'll decide where they are if the ceiling's higher. Because if the ceiling is higher, I thought going in, they were going to be able to beat the bottom tier of the ACC. I didn't think it was going to be like last year where they would be fighting for that ACC tournament berth. But here's the thing. You got to see how they do against these other teams. Defense will keep you in games, but is your offense good enough? I don't know yet. I don't know. What the hell's going on in the phone lines? Let's go to Mario in Syracuse.
He wants to defend himself.
Trash.
You're darn right I want to defend myself. Everyone loves love and memories.
Hold on, you're breaking up.
Typical Paulie. You just hung up on my colleague. Wow.
You can call back in if you want.
Wow. I'm going to hear about that later.
He's got my number. I'm not hiding from him. I don't want to hear about his stupid band.
Jim in Pennsylvania is up
Syracuse
next.
basketball is undefeated.
What's up, Jim?
Hey, guys. Hey, first, Paulie, process question for you.
Sure.
Other than my son saying he saw you murdering a hot dog up on the concourse pregame at Xfinity.
I wasn't eating hot dogs.
I'm sure it was a joke on his part.
I was killing Diet Cokes. I think I set a record for in-game Diet Cokes.
I love it. Well, we were joking because we never saw where you and Matt were doing the game from. I didn't see you over on the table.
We were up on the concourse.
Well, that makes sense then. While you were nearby there,
we were in 112, section 112.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So, we were third row center court right behind both Mello and Lala, having shown up at the same time for that game. And I will say, as you guys have already said, who knows what it's going to look like when they come up against real competition. But there were moments when I had flashbacks to years gone by with some of those blocks off the backboard on the defensive end. Now, also knowing, with all due respect to Steve's, D3 acknowledgement of greatness, Drexel's one lone win is against a D3 school. So as good as how everybody thinks or Steve thought they might have been, I don't know what all that says other than probably not good. But at least there were moments of flash with the blocks, forcing the turnovers, and getting out of the run. That second half, the first half, I had flashbacks to the last few years with, why are we this close with this team? The rebounding is absolutely atrocious, but they definitely turned it up another notch. So I was happy to see that. Let's see what it looks like against the big boys. But one other thing, too, that I hope changes sooner than later, every time Kion did something in the game, he looked over at Melo and Lala as if for approval to see the reaction. And that might be every kid at every level. It's universal. The only problem is both his parents are sitting front row, center court at every game with a whole, group of people around them that they bring to the games. I just hope he can focus and just let him play because I'm sure he has enough pressure on him as it is. But anyway, not easy. But let's hope for the best. I hope they take this and run and make big things happen.
All right, Jim. Appreciate you checking in as always.
This is the thing. Last year's team, maybe even teams in the past, would have, if it was that close at halftime, would not have been able to make the adjustments this year's team did at halftime and blow them out like they did, right? That's the difference of this year's team. I think last year's team, you go into the halftime up 4-5-6, you were ending the game up 4-5-6 or losing that game.
Yeah, 100%. I would agree with that. And, there is definitely pressure on this team to win and win big, and they know that. I mean, Donnie Freeman talked about that after one of the first two games at the Dome about, that Red has brought that up during practice and, even brought it up during that. I think it was the Binghamton game that we got to win this game by a lot. And so I think that, there was some pressure on them to blow them out. And then instead of giving into that pressure, getting tight, they came out and they blew their doors off. And I think that is, again, that is encouraging.
I just sent Mario a potato to let him know that I love him. I love you, Mario. We've got the phone lines lit up and we can't be, I know when to talk sports and when not to. I'm a professional.
Could have told him that before hanging up on him.
Nah, that's funnier. You hang up on your friends. That means you love them.
DJ and Cicero's up next. What's up, DJ? DJ, you with us?
Well, I guess I could have kept Mario on longer. Sorry, DJ. Call back.
I think we lost DJ. Yeah, and, getting back to Jim's point, I wasn't saying that Drexel was good. I think they're the best of who they've faced so far, and I know that's not saying a lot, but I think they were okay. They executed well in that first half. They made some shots. They obviously worked hard on the offensive glass, and then Syracuse came out and said, did Dikembe finger wave to them and said, we're going to blow you out.
And I will tell you this, the other difference I saw, walking into halftime, everybody was cheering and yelling for each other, and every one of them to a man was saying, Nate, keep shooting the ball to Nate Kings. Keep shooting, brother. We need you. Don't get down on the fact that you're not hitting shots.
13.7 assists, no turnovers for Nathan George. That's pretty good. I like that.
I was talking Kings.
No, I know.
Nathan George was great. No turnovers, 7 assists. Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
I was throwing out his numbers. Nate Kings has struggled shooting the ball, but he's done other things. Namely, he's getting on the glass. He's playing good defense. He had 9 rebounds in that game, career high for him. Everybody's doing their part. And this is without JJ. Let's remember that. Kings hasn't gotten off yet from a shooting perspective. JJ hasn't played other than 3 minutes. So, they're still, to me, that's another good sign is that they're not whole at the moment and they're still doing this. They're still blowing teams out.
Yeah. So. And the jerseys are untucked, as Mikey P brings out in our chat. Yeah, they're still in a game.
People pay so much attention to Ken Pom, for instance. Ken Pom, they're up 20 spots. They're up from 68 to 48 in Ken Pom. Evan Miyakawa, we've had him on the show quite a bit. They're 38th in his rankings.
What's been even more impressive to me, Steve, is they've done this without a McDonald's All-American on the team who's a senior. And they did it without a guy who they thought was going to be scoring punch last game.
Yeah.
It's just everybody steps up. And someone in the chat had said that the offense has been mid. It hasn't been. Like, does it bog down at points? Yeah, but what's different this year is when it bogs down, it's not just JJ that can get you to the bucket. And you're seeing Nate Kings get to the basket, and Nathan George get to the basket. And there's so many guys that can get to the rim now. Cayenne's getting shots, you know?
And that's what I was saying last week about not only that, not only do you have guys on the floor, if somebody is off that particular day, somebody else can pick you up. Adrian Autry can now look down the bench and he sees options. He can go to Sadiq White. Yeah. He can go to, when JJ comes back, he can go to Cayenne Anthony. Go in there and get us a bucket. And he didn't have those options, the last couple of years.
Yeah, the only thing, there's going to be a flaw in every game. You're going to see something like last game, it was, oh my goodness, they can't rebound. There's going to be a stat that jumps out to you. There's been games earlier this season, they turned the ball over, 17 times in one of the games? They turned the ball over too much one game. It's going to happen. There's going to be one stat that sticks out where they're bad at something each game, and you just can't let it just keep continuing to happen. And they've done that. They came out in the second half of this game and just dominated the game.
Yeah, they lost the rebounding battle in the first half by double digits. I think they were -3 for the game. So they made up a good deal of that margin in the second half. And obviously defensively, I mean, they held the 20% shooting the second half after Drexel got off to a hot start and hit a bunch of threes in that first half. That didn't happen in the second half. That's not by accident. That's that's effort. That's intensity. We saw Donnie Freeman at points kind of getting after his teammates. And again, I think it was in a healthy way. I don't think it was in a destructive way. It looked like, again, you were there, Paulie. It looked like it was constructive, the things that he was saying. It certainly looked like that on TV. And the guys responded.
Yeah, you got to rebound the ball. The other thing that is a problem with the offense so far is the three-point shooting hasn't been great. And there's no guarantee they're going to start knocking it down, but if they start knocking down threes, they're taking open threes. They're just not hitting them.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I do think it'll come, especially with Kings. Like you're not a 44% three-point shooter by accident.
The other thing, there's not a guy who's bad shot selection right now either that we're complaining about.
That comes with balance.
Yeah.
That comes with, I don't feel like I have to do everything. That, okay, like if I don't have a shot, somebody else can make a play, or the shot clock's winding down. It's not the same guy every time that has to go to the bucket. And I do think that's an encouraging sign as well. There's a lot of things to like, Paulie.
You know what I really like? Noah Lobdell's averaging a steal a minute.
Yeah.
He's a juggernaut on defense.
Hashtag depth. 315-437-7644.
You think he can sustain that?
Yes, I do. Because, from here on out, I don't know how much he's going to play. He might finish with averaging a steal per minute. All right, Mike McAllister joins us next on ESPN Radio.
Fran Brown has kept that locker room together, and the signs of that are Demetrius Samuel has already said he plans to come back. Calvin Russell today, the 5-star wide receiver commit, who everyone wanted.
Nope, just regular bumps today. My bumps are banging, too. I'm the bump master. That's what they call me, Steve. Remember when you used to call me that? The bump master? No? Oh, God damn it. I hate these stupid things.
He doesn't even have to play bumps today. It's already not a no-hitter.
I wish you were home crying because your battery was dead. How about changing your own battery? Could you do that there, Sally? Sorry, Steve. You came at me. I'm feisty today.
Oh, I saw that yesterday. What's it?
Mario's laughing at me. You look like $1 million as usual.
Yeah, I didn't have a battery on me. Do you have an extra battery at your house?
Uber to AutoZone and get it. It's not hard. It's not hard to figure out. Way to come in with your negativity, Florida guy, too. So many assistants on the bench. What?
Mexican Bar and Grill, only at SaltCityDeals.com. Investing in financial planning is a very personal thing. We believe our experience and independent thought has served our clients well.
Is there more? I don't think that there's more coaches on the bench than normal. They added one coach that can do things, but he was always on the. It's the 4 assistants, right? Corsiniti,
and then their strength and conditioning guy.
Strength and conditioning in the team doctor guy, whatever the hell he is. And then behind the bench, it's the video replay guy. That's the only addition, I would think.
Shazam! Not only are we your 2-year President Award winner, an award for customer satisfaction for sales and service, but this month we're your location for the Honda event where you'll find great deals on all your new Hondas. Zoinks! There it is! With over 200 new Hondas available during the Honda event, Great Lakes Honda City is the place to shop for.
I think you could go 1 and 3 if you're getting better. Because there's quad ones to be had in the ACC, but you got. I would,
Radio Syracuse. ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com.
This is Orange Nation.
Told you my bumps were banging. Around the way girl, Steve. I need an around the way girl. Do people still wear bamboo earrings?
I don't know.
I don't think I've seen a chick with bamboo earrings in a while.
Let's go to the phone lines, shall we?
Fendi bags, are those still a thing? What about a bad attitude? Are you looking for a bad... Speaking of bad attitudes, Mike McAllister joins us.
Mike, what's going on?
Without any bamboo earring.
Yes, yes. Your Eagles won last night. That was a defensive struggle by both teams, but good for your Eagles.
That's what they've been doing all season, is winning and looking terrible offensively.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some hoops. And I guess let's just start with your takeaways from that Drexel game. What stood out to you the most?
It felt to me like a team that was rusty from a week off, and that once they kind of got back into rhythm, they were the same team that we saw in the first 2 games, just for a half instead of for a whole game. That's kind of the way it felt to me. They just kind of were a little bit off and out of sync in the first half, but I thought the defense was exceptional in that second half especially, and offensively they finally started to get things going a little bit more in the second half, but it just kind of reinforced what I think I've seen so far from this team, is that they have the potential to be really good defensively when they're completely focused on that end for 40 minutes, and they're still not great from an outside shooting standpoint, but looked a little bit better in this game, I thought, at times. And yeah, just kind of more of the same, I think. And I think we're all just kind of itching to see them play some of the better teams on their schedule to see how it translates from who they played so far.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the defensive effort and the defensive performance in that second half. And really through these first three games, they've been very good defensively. Do you think that will translate against this better competition?
The main reason I think it has a chance to is because of how long they are, and William Kyle having good shot blocking instincts and being able to jump out of the gym and running up and down the floor and playing with the energy that he does. Those types of things usually translate from regardless of who the opponent is. And just because of how long Syracuse is at every position, even when they bring guys off the bench, they're still long everywhere. They don't lose any of that. I think that gives Syracuse a chance to be really good defensively, even against some of the better teams that they're going to play. Now, where you're going to see a difference is some of those teams are going to be able to match up a little bit better size-wise to what Syracuse has, but the long arms and the way that they can move and the way they can switch with several guys at different positions and guard multiple positions, I think that translates. My biggest thing, I guess, that I'm curious about is when they start playing against these, the Houstons and the Kansases, and they usually have guards that have quick first steps and are really good at getting by their opponent. How does Syracuse match up with those types? Because I don't really think the teams that we've seen them play so far have those types at that level. So I'm curious to see how they can match up from a one-on-one standpoint with guys with those quick first steps and everything else. Very curious to see how that plays out.
Speaking of translating to Power 4 schools, Kyan Anthony's played great, but you watched him through high school. Is what he's doing, is he capable of doing it against a Houston or a Kansas?
I think so, just because of how smooth he is and how he just plays with a level of maturity, like it's someone that grew up around the game and someone who has been, taught by a future Hall of Famer. And I think that's kind of where we're at with what he is. And, I thought he'd be a good scorer and that he'd be able to contribute, but he's been much more efficient than I thought he would be. And he's been much better, I think, than you would think most freshmen would be at just letting the game come to him, not being forceful, not, getting a little bit too amped up and chucking up a bunch of bad shots. He's been really good at staying within what they're trying to run, taking the shots as they come, but not forcing anything, playing team basketball. He's shown kind of a veteran grit and sort of a veteran maturity from that standpoint that I didn't expect him to have right away. That's been the most impressive thing for me as far as what he's been through the first three games.
And they've been doing this without JJ, and obviously Kyan's getting more minutes because JJ isn't there. When he comes back, how do you think that changes things with Kyan? If he keeps playing well, they're going to have to continue to find him more minutes. Does he chew into Nate King's minutes a little bit? How do you see that situation playing itself out?
Yeah, that's kind of the big question I think we have right now with this team is JJ is going to go back into the starting lineup. I don't think he gets Wally pipped here or anything like that, but I think he goes back into the starting lineup, and then what does that mean for Kyan? Is he's going to play some 2? I think he's going to play some 3. I think the other thing they could do is it might eat into Luke Fennell's minutes a little bit, because they could have JJ slide over to the 1 and have Kyan play the 2 at times. There's a lot of options I think that Red has, because I think Kyan can play at several different positions, and so they'll find ways to get him minutes. But you gotta get him on the floor. There's no question. If he keeps playing like this, especially when they get to those tougher games, if he continues to shoot the ball at a high level, it continues to show this level of maturity and patience and high basketball IQ, while also scoring at a really efficient rate. You can't keep a guy like that off the floor.
I know these have been 3 subpar opponents that they've played to this point, Mike, but has your opinion of this team or the expectations for this team changed in any way after these 3 blowout wins?
I'm still expecting them to be a tournament team. That hasn't changed. But I think my expectations for how good they can be on the defensive end of the floor has increased a little bit. I thought they had potential to be significantly better than what they were last year, but they were really poor on that end last year. And I thought with the pieces that they had, there was potential they'd be a good defensive team, but they've been even better than I think my most orange-colored glasses would have anticipated at this point. So, yeah, I think my expectation for what they could be on that end of the floor has certainly risen a little bit. But otherwise, I'm still expecting them to be a tournament team. I expect them to go down to Vegas and be competitive with Houston and Kansas and whoever else they might play. Whereas last year when they were kind of in this situation and they went down and played some of these teams in the non-conference, it kind of felt like you were just hoping they wouldn't get blown out too badly. And this one, it feels like you expect them to compete and give themselves a shot to win.
I know Sadiq White got in foul trouble early, and so he sat most of the first half there. Are you kind of surprised by his minutes?
I mean, nothing really surprises me all that much, to be honest with you, but a little bit just because I thought he's shown some flashes, and you heard all this buzz about how good he can be in the off season. But at the same time, with how well Donnie Freeman's playing and how well Tyler Betsy's playing, they've got a lot of guys on the front court that have been playing really well. And so at some point, someone's minutes have to suffer a little bit. You can't play everyone 30-plus minutes. So at the moment, he seems to be kind of I wouldn't say odd man out. I think that's too harsh, but seems to be the guy that's having his minutes reduced a little bit while everyone else plays well. But I still think he's going to play. I still think he's going to be a contributor, and I think there's going to be games where he's going to come in and give them a huge spark off the bench that they're going to need.
You mentioned Luke Fennell a little earlier, and Bryce Zephyr's actually been playing a little more, and he was kind of a head-scratcher when they signed him. Do you see those two continuing to get minutes when you get into the Power 4 schedule?
They'll still get some, yeah. I don't know that maybe as much as what we've seen. My expectation is that Red's going to, shrink the rotation a little bit, just because that's typically what happens. Now, it's entirely possible that he might not. That's just kind of my expectation based on what coaches typically do. He might not. He might keep playing these guys, and if they keep playing well, then that allows him to keep guys fresh, which is obviously a good thing. But to your point, I didn't really think that Bryce Zephyr was going to see the floor very much at all this season, and the fact that he's been out there and has played and it didn't look completely lost or anything like that. He looked like he belongs on the floor and plays well with these guys. I think that's good in case you get into situations later in the season where you've got foul trouble or, a couple of guys, someone goes down. I mean, right now, JJ's out of the lineup, right, because he's hurt. So what if you have a situation in the middle of the conference play where someone misses a couple of games and then you get someone else with foul trouble? Well, now you've got a guy like Bryce Zephyr that can come in. You feel like, he can at least come in and keep you in games and play well without you having this huge drop off. It's a credit to, I think, the coaching staff and to Alex Klein, the GM, for the scouting that they did on finding a guy like that he can come in and give him some depth and is good enough to play here.
Yeah, to that point, not only has he played, he's done some good things when he's been out there. I've been impressed with the minutes that we've seen out of Bryce Zephyr. One recruiting question before we touch on football. Asher Elson has pared his list down to 4 between Syracuse, Maryland, Auburn, and Xavier. He's announcing his decision apparently on Wednesday, according to his social media. What are the chances Cuse lands him?
I don't think they're going to get him just based on some things that I've been hearing. I don't know exactly where he's going, to be honest with you, but my expectation is that he will not be picking Syracuse on Wednesday.
Okay.
Fire somebody.
Everybody, all the time.
Last one, because we're running short on time here, but we got to ask you about football. Fran Brown's going to hold his press conference here in about 10 minutes from now. Is he picking a starting quarterback? Who's it going to be? How do you think he handles today's news conference, and who do you think starts on Saturday against Notre Dame?
If I had to guess, I'd say he says something similar to what we've heard in previous weeks, which is we'll have to see how practice goes this week. And then maybe, Wednesday or Thursday during one of his other media appearances, he'll mention who's going to start. But I guess if I had to guess right now, I'd guess that Ricky goes out there and is the starter at Notre Dame. I think that's an awfully tough situation to put a true freshman like either Luke Carney or a Joseph Filardi in, going to play against a team of that caliber on the road in that type of environment. So it might be the Ricky Collins show for another week, and then if you get through that, then maybe depending on what Ricky's performance is, if he goes out and plays well and surprises people, then hey, maybe he gets the final start against Boston College. If he has another game where he struggles and the offense is unable to move the ball, then perhaps you turn it over to a Joseph Filardi for the last game of the season.
Real quick, Mike, we got about 20 seconds left here. Calvin Russell, I know that he kind of reaffirmed his commitment on social media and in a recent interview. Do you expect him to actually sign on December 3rd?
I do. I expect him to sign. I think a vast majority of Syracuse's recruiting class will. We know that Cameron Wilson was at Florida State this past weekend, so there's a couple of guys we're monitoring, but he's not someone that I currently have on Flip Watch.
All right, Mike. As always, we appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Mike McAllister joining us here on the show, publisher of QStation.com.
Flip Watch.
We've it's like Bubble Watch. You love Bubble Talk. He's
There's a watch
he's
for
on Flip
everything
Watch,
right
yes.
now. Bubble Watch, Flip Watch.
Fran Brown watch, because we got to get to him in 10 minutes. Yes, let's get to a break. We'll check in on the market. Fran Brown coming up at 1 o'clock. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Why don't you flip the drive time?
The Bears have graduated out of searching for a franchise quarterback.
Yes.
They're no longer in.
Battery watch. Good one. Famous watches. Swatch. Rolex. Timex. Mickey Mouse. Tower. Yourself. Whale watch. Good one. Tornado watch.
This.
Winter weather. The TV.
Thunderstorm. Tornado.
Bay. Good one. It. Fossil. Good one. Movado. I have a Movado. But I don't wear it. Booby watch. Good one. One on my desk. Early. Can you let Tim know that too, so he can tell everybody too? Philly was like Mad Max, man. It's changed. Like, people fighting in the streets, throwing rocks at cars. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah. I did not feel comfortable walking around.
This is Orange Nation.
Orange Nation is back, Steve. Regular bumps today. California love.
Check in
Can't go
on the
wrong with
market.
this
We've
one.
got Bill from Lee Baldwin and Company joining us. Bill, how's the market doing here on a Monday?
A little bit lower to start the week here. The Dow's down 127 points, so a little bit of a correction here the last week or two, which is fine and actually normal, but plenty of diamonds out there. We're going to go with Google Alphabet, trading up 4% today as we found out Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway built a stake in the third quarter, so that stock is performing well. And on the downside, Ford and Amazon are modestly lower, but the news is they're both going to collaborate together where you're going to be able to buy certified pre-owned Ford vehicles on Amazon Auto going forward. So pretty creative idea for those two companies, and that's it today.
All right, Bill. Appreciate the update as always. All the diamonds, none of the dogs. Be sure to visit LeeBaldwin.com. Quick turnaround as we hit the top of the hour. We'll bring you Fran Brown's live press conference next on ESPN Radio.
This is Orange Nation.
Let's see him play against Houston. Promo's already running. Twitch watch. Indy is great. Thank you for asking. She had the mad zoomies when I got home. Zipping around the house. She is 11. How did I sleep? I slept great. Indy wakes me up every night because she's like me. She likes a little midnight snack. So she gets up and starts chomping on her food. What the hell did I eat while I was on the road? Why are you asking, like, what the hell? I had lasagna for dinner. I went out to dinner with Matt and Coach Saddle, and even though Steve and Tim said I would not.
I didn't think you would.
I did not. It was closed at night, so it was right across the street from our hotel. And then I had to go over early to set up, so I couldn't go to lunch with him because I wanted to set up before the first game, so I wasn't in the other broadcaster's way while I was setting up. She's on whatever my vet tells her to have. She's on some sort of oil I put on her food. Didn't have cheesesteaks. I had lasagna. Oh, God. You know what I had, and it was awful? I had the Thruway in Philadelphia had Roy Rogers, and it was gross. It was just so bland. It was like a hospital burger or a cafeteria, like a school cafeteria burger, like it came out of a can. I have had no diarrhea since I got. But yeah, I had like day-old onion rings and boiled hamburger from Roy Rogers. You would have loved the hamburger I had, Steve, from Roy Rogers. It was so boring. Just burger, American cheese, bacon, and ketchup.
That's good. No ketchup, but other than that, it's good.
No ketchup?
No. It's essentially red sauce.
I hate you. Can Mario do the show with me? I'd rather listen to him and his crappy music than you not having ketchup. Dear
I
God.
like ketchup, but
Dear God.
it's the same idea.
You're insufferable. You're only taking little itty bitty bit. Like, you don't eat that much ketchup. Like, red sauce is
Ketchup
cuss.
is better than red sauce for me, but it's still the same family.
What do you dunk your fries in?
Like if I'm at like Tully's, and I would dunk them in honey mustard. I usually just have them plain. Or like if there's gravy on the plate, I would have gravy on them.
I can't do this.
Yep.
.com.
This is Orange Nation.
Yeah, I told you my bumps are great, Steve. Special ed. Let's find out if Tim has a new thing where he comes in the window at when we're ready to air something, and he does this.
For those who are listening to us on the radio, he gives us a thumbs up. Not everybody is watching us at QSportsTalk.com.
So we're just waiting for Coach Brown to pop up, and they'll write on my screen. Think about it, Steve.
Special ed. He's underrated. Special ed.
Oh my God, he was only 16 when he was doing that.
Right?
What were you doing at 16? Being boring, I can guarantee you that.
Working on winning a state title.
Did you know, Steve? I stayed in a hotel this past weekend.
Yes. Well, you sent me a screenshot, so I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, there was a pile of fingernails on my nightstand.
That's gross. What'd the hotel do?
I didn't tell them. I just swept them off onto the floor, so they'll at least vacuum hopefully next time.
I feel like you could have gotten a free room or at least changed rooms or something.
No, because I stayed in the same hotel before, and I found a pair of men's underwear behind the curtains.
No.
Yeah. Same exact hotel.
Why don't you go to a different hotel?
I don't really have a choice.
I feel like you should have said something.
I complained about the underwear, and they said, okay, we'll come get it.
They didn't give you a different room? Or say, hey, we'll clean? Like, they obviously didn't clean properly.
I don't know.
If there were fingernails on the counter?
Dude, you just imagine what you don't know about hotel rooms.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. One time I stayed in a hotel, and there was socks, like, in the bed. Like, they made the bed over socks somebody had kicked off in the middle of the night because their feet got hot.
I feel like of the three things you just mentioned, that I could see how that might slip through the cracks.
No, that means they didn't change the sheets, man. That's gross.
Well, that could just mean they didn't change the comforter. Depends on where the socks were.
No, they were tucked into the sheets, dude. No, that's the worst of the three.
All right. Well, if they didn't change the sheets, then yes, that's a problem.
So they came up and changed the sheets for me.
You were very tolerant.
I'm not that guy, believe it or not. I'm not, guys, can you get, like, you missed a finger.
Can I just have a different room? Like,
no,
there's socks in my bed.
I don't need a different room. I just come get the socks and the underwear. Yeah, I'm just not a complainer.
I feel like this is a good topic for summer or a good poll question. Because I don't think it's being that guy to say, hey, there's socks in my bed. Could I have a different room?
No, I complained about that.
Okay.
Just can you guys come get these socks?
Change the sheets this time. Interesting.
We're having some technical difficulties. He's frozen. Let me open up, see if I can get some of the audio, at least, of it for our listeners.
So Fran Brown has already started, I take it?
Yeah, a little bit. He has frozen. And I don't see it on you. So, great. I'm ready whenever you guys are.
I'm ready as well.
Just let us know. We can find out who's going to be the starting quarterback, maybe.
I mean, don't we fully expect it's going to be Ricky Collins? Fully? You don't know. You don't care. You've checked out. Season's over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I am looking forward to that being completely done for real. But it's been over for 2 weeks for me.
Yeah. 35-point underdogs against Notre Dame.
What?
Yep.
That's like...
Well, keep in mind, Notre Dame's playing for the college football playoff.
Yeah, but that's like being Bethune-Cookman.
Just seeing if we have any sort of update on Fran. 35-point underdogs, and Notre Dame's playing to win and win big. They got to make sure that they hang on to their spot.
If I told you going into this year that Syracuse would be 35-point dogs,
I would have said the quarterback probably got hurt. Seriously.
To Notre Dame. That's not saying a lot for your defense either, though.
But going into the year, I mean, Notre Dame was considered a top 10 team.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find. We're having a little technical issue with the Fran Brown thing, so
just scoot over and
I'm letting Tim
work some magic. He's gonna take over here for a second. We'll see if we can if we can find it.
All right, Tim is vigorously typing. I'm giving the play-by-play here. He's moved the mouse to the left here. Here we go.
Whatever he did, it seems like it's worked.
See if I can get the audio of this. There we go.
Here's Fran Brown.
Tim Brown.
So we
Tim Leonard for the rescue.
All of our young football players, just to have a chance to see and look at the team for what it'll be next year. Minus Steve, because he's not able to practice, but he was there. You were able to feel and understand and know his leadership. So I took advantage of that right there. And then from a coaching perspective, I did a little activity of something that I wanted to figure out just everybody's thoughts on is who we are and what we're about and where we are right now, and think of some ways that you can make changes and things, because everybody has an opinion, right? So being able to get everyone's opinion and see how those opinions are, and I was able to take those opinions and look at them, and some things I was able to use, some I didn't use, but that's what I did, and been able to spend some time with my sons. Honestly, my wife, they left for a couple of days, a little bit, to go take care of some family stuff. But I was able to spend some time with my sons and just talk to my sons and get to be a dad on Saturday, right? After we got done practice, I was able to go and just hang with my family. Wife came back, able to go and just sit down and have dinner with my family and talk to them about just life and things that I don't get to always do on a Saturday. That was pretty cool to be able to do that.
And then, as far as knowing that this is not going to be a bowl season, you're not going to get those extra practices, that extra time with your team, just how you're evaluating this season. I know you keep talking about building toward the future and what this is going to be toward the future, but the buy-in for the guys, the last couple games for the seniors, to keep them focused and keep them locked in, knowing that you are building toward the future, but some of these guys are going to be playing their last snaps here in the last couple of weeks.
They understand and they know that we're going to finish out the right way for them. It's important that we do that. Most of the guys, a few that I got to bring in through the portal, but most of them I wasn't the one that actually got to recruit them, but I made sure that they understood and know that I had an opportunity of keeping them here, and we chose to do that, and we all chose to be here together. So we want to go out the right way with those guys. Then for the young guys, they know they got to play. Like last week, if you look at the game, we went through it. There were 20 freshmen that got like meaningful time in the football game, right? That were able to play. I think out of those 20 freshmen, 17 were true. The other ones were redshirt freshmen. And then there was a lot of other guys that got to play when you just go into the sophomore class. So it's promising, and giving them a chance to see that, letting them understand and know, like, look how many guys are playing. Look what happened for the future. So, we're building the program, right? Last year, and this is the best way to say it, why everyone's excited about it and still going. Last year, I was able to bring in a lot of strong senior leadership. I brought a lot of guys that I already had prior relationships. Some great senior leadership was able to come in. First off, starting off with the quarterback, Fidel Diggs, and then they had some guys here that were like very, very tough. Like I told you guys, I always consider LeQuint one of the toughest football players I've ever coached. But you had Marlo Wax, you had Justin Barron, then you got Rondé Gaddison, who's just a workaholic. I was able to have Jackson Meeks come over. So when you lose those guys and all that stuff, like all those guys of that nature, the sophomores are still watching them, the guys I brought in. This is what you want it to look like, right? The freshmen that are coming in, you guys seen who left and where it was at. This is why we wanted to look. We're just kind of be able to build it. This is the kind of the down year, in my opinion. Just being down, especially after losing the quarterback. I feel it would have been opposite with the quarterback. And a lot of times you want to make excuses for why. Why we lost so many games, it's never acceptable. But I'm learning so much about being a football coach. I'm learning so much about our football team, our program, coaching staff, players. There's a lot of change that'll be made. There's a lot of things that will happen, and I'm very thankful for it, to be honest with you. I couldn't put it any other way. I wish that we were playing for the community. Right? I think that our community, our fan base, the alumni, they always deserve to be in a bowl game. But when you're able to sit back and really analyze everything, like, see, I get to do this with Dwight Freeney because he's on the staff with us, and we talk and we go through things, and he's played at the highest level, so he understands the game and knows, like, hey, this is a blessing in disguise. But next year, we got to come out and do what's needed for us to do. So I'm very thankful about everything that's going on.
Go to Chris in front.
Fran, how do you assess how the two coordinators, Jeff and Elijah, have done this year?
I'll finish that at the end of the season.
Do you know if they'll be back next season?
Yeah, they'll both be here next year.
Okay.
We'll go to Zach and Aiden in the front, John.
Fran, what's been the biggest, challenge during this skid, and have you tried to keep your team motivated during the losing streak?
I mean, I come to work every day. I'm always motivated. I push. Like, if you watch practice, you wouldn't see a difference in practice, right? You can't tell if we were 7-3 and not the opposite way, right? So that for me is always being done the right way. I'm always pushing, always set up. As we started to lose, man, just tell you, like I'm a human, right? So some of the things I did was try to do everything on my own. And I'm not saying I didn't try to use the coaching staff and things like that. For me, I'm always using the God, using the man above, and going to him with all the answers and just asking and doing everything. I feel like throughout October, I was just, dang, this can't happen. I got to fix this. I got it. And in November, I got a text from a friend of mine named Bruce Lee. We real close. We played college ball together. And he's like, I know how you feel, and I remember you in college, but you need to listen to this song. And he sent me a pretty cool church song that I listened to, and shit, it had me crying. I actually got on my hands and knees and just started praying, and just different answers came, right? There was different things that come about. That's how I was able to do a couple different activities with our staff. I was able to do some things with our players, and just being able to move on, right? Like being at peace and understanding that I gotta always try to use the man above to be able to help me, to be able to get through situations that may be tough, right? That's why it's always two set of footprints in that sand and not one, right? And then when it is one, I better make sure that I'm counting on him and not being myself. So for me, I'm very thankful for all the opportunities and everything that I got to go through. Man, I can't stand losing. Like, I hate losing. But sometimes you gotta lose to be able to move ahead. Sometimes you gotta lose to be able to go forward. And honestly, for myself, that was happening throughout most of my life, right? From being as though where I was born and raised, the circumstances that I was born and raised under, and then for me to still be the head football coach, there was a lot of obstacles I had to overcome and push through and grind at, and I just had to really sit back and be able to remember that. And I think it's going to make me a better coach going for the future. I'll be able to coach the players better. I'll be able to coach the coaches better, and I think that our fan base, or the alum and everybody here, they're going to have the coach that they deserve and that they need throughout the rest of my career here, just being a football coach at Syracuse University.
You talked about earlier you got to do some things kind of with your family during the bye week that you might not have before. I know you've had Fran Jr. kind of alongside you this year at Syracuse. How important has he been for you this year, and what has that relationship been like this year?
With my son being here?
Yeah, with your son being here.
I mean, it's good because I get the opportunity to raise my son. You know, usually they're on other football programs and teams, so I know everything that I talk to every single player about, when he sits in that seat up there and I'm talking to all of them, I'm telling them the same thing that I'll tell my son. So everything that I'm telling them is legit information. It's from the heart. It's motivating them to go be the best versions of themselves, to be able to lock in. So him being here just reassures that I'm doing it the right way, that the message is right, that the message is correct, because I'm coaching my son, but I'm also coaching his friends. Right, these are his teammates. He's gonna be with them forever. So I got to do everything the right way, or I can mess up his future teammates and his friends and the relationships that he's supposed to have for the rest of his life. So I don't take that lightly that he's on our team, and I'm very thankful he's on the team. But he just reminds me that I am doing it the right way.
Okay, a question from Aiden, and then we'll have him pass it back to Maddie in the second row.
Yeah, Coach, just looking at Notre Dame, you mentioned about Jeremiah Love. Just from watching his film, what makes him so effective in challenging stuff?
He go north and south really fast. He's he's just fast. You know, he's super fast, like a gazelle. He can hit it. He goes 0 to 60 really, really fast. And he's not afraid of contact either. I like the fact that he runs behind his pads. He's a good running back.
Yeah, and just, there's been a lot of talk about the offensive struggles this year, but just how would you assess your defense through 10 games?
We're going up and down. Yeah, but I would say we've been up and down. We got to be a little bit more consistent throughout the game. I think you can watch some games and you can see us doing really, really well. And then there's a few plays that you don't want, that you wish you can get back. So I would just say up and down.
Pass it right back to Maddie for me, and then we'll go to Brent in the front row.
Fran, looking at Ricky's performance against Miami and then Joe coming in and able to score a touchdown, taking that into the bye week, have you determined if there's going to be a starter switch up, at Notre Dame, or is it still going to be an ongoing quarterback competition this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like Joe. Joe's going to play this week. Like Joe's a guy to go in at quarterback, and I'm thinking Luke could probably get some time this week also. Joe and Luke, and then the last week we'll figure out the best way for us due to the fact of I want Luke to be able to redshirt. So like Luke may play this week or he may play next week. Not really sure, but it seems like Joe right now. We'll find out because today is the first we get to practice again, right? But last week was kind of Saturday was when everyone was there, all of the guys. So we'll see how it goes today. But I feel like Joe should go in because of being able to go down and put some points on the board. First time we had a touchdown in some weeks. So I mean, it sucks saying that, but yeah. So I feel like Joe.
Go to Brent in front, and then WAER in the third row.
Fran, when you were seeking opinions from your players, as you mentioned during the
when I was who?
When you were seeking opinions from the players, you mentioned you were having some conversations with your players during the bye week.
I never said I was seeking opinions from the players. I said the coaching staff. We did a little thing that we did with the coaching staff, and they asked some stuff.
What were some of those opinions that cut through to you to not only plan for the rest of the year?
Yeah, that's kind of personal. I can't give you that information out about what we talked about and what we done. I'm just telling you that we did an exercise that was good, but there was nothing. It was just continue to have fun, coach. Be yourself. I could tell you those were some of the things. Be yourself. Trust your gut. Usually when you go against what you think doesn't work for us. Just really that. I'm trying to think of all like the common thing that was consistently going on. That was mainly the common piece.
So let me ask then, did you take the opportunity to the bye week to affirm some confirmations from some players about returning next year and what their plans are with everything going on once the season ends?
Not really. There's some things we handle and things that was naturally done, but I'll handle that mostly when the season's done. I mean, you know who you are. You know if you're fit, if this is the fit. Like, this isn't like they're not little kids. These are mature young men that I'm telling them the biggest advocate for them is them. I teach them that, and I make sure they understand that so they know how to come and speak to me as men, and I know how to talk to them as a man. But right now, that isn't where we are. We talk about mental toughness to be where your feet are. So we're not really focused on that piece of it. There are some guys that I know will possibly go into the portal. There's some guys that are going to go by their choice, and there'll be some that'll go on my choice, right? Just for the betterment of our program and then for them, so that way they can have the right mental and being able to go feel and be successful. Sometimes new starts help people, right? And there's some things that will happen that way. There'll be every team in the country will have some guys leave, players and coaches alike. So I'm just praying, and I'm just going to use the man above. I'm going to use the staff as much as I can to make sure that we get the team that we need at the end of that portal, that we got the guys that we need to go out and compete to win the ACC Conference and the National Championship.
Go to WADR and back, and we'll take 2 more.
Coach, knowing that there won't be a bowl game after the season, how does that change the way that you operate these last few weeks of the year, knowing that you won't have that extra time with your team?
No, we got operated the same way. I just get to focus a little bit more on the academic piece. I think that we got to pick it up academically right now. That's something that I spoke with the guys about during the bye week of what we were looking for, being able to pick it up academically, being able to lock in and move on, because there are guys that's going to want to transfer and that want to go, and I want to make sure they are academically eligible, because you can't transfer being ineligible, right? And I want to make sure those things are done right. I just want everybody to be in the right space, the right mind space, and the right mental, so that way when January hits, everybody can make a good decision with a clear mind, and you don't have to worry about, I gotta stay, right? Or, dang, getting rid of this kid wouldn't be fair because he's not eligible. So I'm speaking to everybody about everything. So when I decide to make that decision, or they decide to make that decision, everything's been on the table the entire time, and there's nothing all of a sudden you're doing this. Just kind of is what it is.
And then last 2, we'll go Javon in front. Gianna, if you want to bring the mic over, and then finish with Timmy on the end.
Fran, through 2 weeks, what have you seen on the offensive side of the ball in terms of how things have played out since your shake-up on the staff, and how the routine and everything is going for them?
I feel like they were all professionals, so everything's working itself out. Sometimes anything you say, right, it could always come back to bite you. So I feel like with this question, the less I say, the better to be, right? I don't want to just say something about. I just think they're doing a good job. I think the coaches are working well together. I think moving Coach Gaddis to the receiver room is helping out. I think that all the coaches and all the moves and everything they've done is helping us, and it's for the betterment of our program.
And then you told us the losing streak is not going to impact the 26s and the 27s that you're getting here, and that's turned out to be absolutely true. Why is high school, building this program through the high school recruits so important, in the way you like to go about things?
I feel like there's one portal now, so everybody won't be able to do those things 2 times. At some point, everything will lock in, and it'll be the way it's supposed to. And then I just know I'm doing everything right. And I get to build a relationship with them, get them an opportunity to see. You also watch and see, you've seen 20 freshmen play last week. So why would you not want to come to the program where that many freshmen have a chance to play with, in my opinion, coming back next year, we're going to have the best quarterback in the country, right, of him being a chance to come here and play. And we're just going to compete, right? Like, we compete. Like, guys, at the end of the day, there's not a football game you can look out there and watch, maybe one, I'm not sure, where we didn't compete our butt off, right? Where then you can see, wow, if they had that spot, then it would have been a better outcome in the game, right? Like, I can't really say much about it, because we lost all these games, and I'm gonna accept that because I'm the head coach and I've done those things. But when you watch us and you look at us, why would they not want to come? Like, I'm gonna still get one of the top players in the country. He's going to come here. It's going to be a couple of them come. We're going to compete. They're going to win next year. It's just what it is, right? But we got a big game ahead of us, in my opinion. One of the better teams in the country. One of the better head football coaches in the country. I can't wait to go out there and be able to compete against them, to just to give us that test to see how good we are, right? To see where my players are, to being able to go against one of the blue bloods in college football, to being able to go against one of the better head football coaches in college football. We get a chance to go out there and compete against them this week. And this is big for our program, right? This is big for our guys' confidence, for our culture, right? So I'm excited about going to play against Notre Dame this weekend, because I think they're a really good football team. And I don't want to really look in the next year or the 26s, but I'm so excited y'all coming, and we're going to have a lot of fun when y'all get here.
Last question, Fran.
Notre Dame has shown the ability on offense to score on 20-yard plays, 30-yard plays. How are you looking to combat?
And don't forget 99-yard plays too. Yeah, they could go the distance at any moment. How am I looking to do what?
Looking to combat that, slow that offense down.
We just got to tackle, right? We got to be able to tackle. You got to make open field tackles. I think open field tackles are going to be extremely important against the speed that they have, especially in the backfield with Love and Price, being able to do that. Faison, who on the outside is good. Fields, them trying to throw it up to Pauling. I think Will Pauling is his name. Number 2, he's a really good receiver also. He's dynamic. So we just got to open field tackle, but we just got to compete. Like, we get a chance to play against Notre Dame this weekend. We're not doing well as a program right now from a win-loss standpoint. At practice, we're doing extremely well. Everybody's having fun. So, but we get to go against with Notre Dame, like number 9 or something, 9 or 8, something like that. They number 9. We get to play against the number 9 team in the country this weekend, like against one of the better coaches in the country. So, like, I get to put myself up to test to see, Fran, you think you good? So go ahead. You get a chance to go compete against Coach Freeman, right? Coach Freeman has a lot of really good players. He's built the program up. Got Notre Dame back where Notre Dame wants to be at, and I'm trying to follow that same thing right now. So I think this is a good test for us to be able to go out and play them, and then we get a chance to play them next year too, right? 2 years. So like, it's pretty cool for us to be able to do it. So it's something that we'll be able to have, and we'll be able to talk about for the rest of our lives of what happened to us. So we get one game this year, and then we get one next year, and so I'm thankful to go play against them. I'm excited. Just watch and see how we compete.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Appreciate y'all.
That's Fran Brown's weekly press conference. We'll take a time out here. We'll get back on time. Phone lines open the rest of the way, 315-437-7644. We'll talk about it next on ESPN Radio.
Burdick Toyota, Burdick Lexus, and...
Sounds like Pilardi's going to have a party.
Surprises me a little bit.
Nah. What's the matter now? Cam Dantley won a game at Notre Dame. Why can't Joe Pilardi? I never once saw Adrian Dantley in his time here, and I loved Adrian Dantley as a kid. On the Mavs.
Yeah.
Those ugly green uniforms. You suck, Dilemma Cuse.
Was he a Piston too? Wasn't he a Piston?
Might have been. I think of him as a Maverick.
Yeah, he was with the Pistons too.
How many years was he with Pistons?
I don't know. Let me find out. Yeah, 86 through 89. So that's kind of what. And he was only with the Mavs for 1 year. The following year, 89, 90.
Who did he spend most of his career with?
He was with
Denver?
All over the place. Mostly with the Jazz. He was an assistant with the Nuggets, but he was with the Pacers, Lakers, Jazz, Pistons, Mavericks, Bucks.
Why do I think of him as a Mav?
I don't know, but he was there. Yeah, he was only there 1 season.
89, 90, 88, 89. 2 years.
Oh, he was there 2 years?
Jazz, he spent the most time with. But I was not into basketball yet. That's why. Probably.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 2 years. He averaged 30 points per game twice in his career. Multiple times. 4 times in his career.
Yeah. He was really good. Wonder if he ever did it with mono. I don't even know what Orange Johanna's trying to say there, but the fact that it got through is hysterical.
Get a good backup.
How did that get through? What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Me?
Yeah, you're not going to
my.
I know that.
My lovely daughter is back from New York City for the first time since she went down there.
That didn't tell me what you were doing.
Yeah, I'm just
you hosting?
Spending it in Syracuse. Probably go to my dad's.
good moist turkeys at the Infani house? Or are they dry and bland? I don't actually know what I'm doing. Syracuse might be playing that day. I might have a watch party. Last time I had Jordan do a watch party with me, and I cooked Thanksgiving.
Somebody brought up earlier my daughter's check washing scandal, whatever happened. I forget who it was, but I forgot to respond. She finally got her money back a couple weeks ago. They finally reimbursed her. They never caught the guy, but the bank gave her her money back.
The most famous basketball player on the least famous team. I don't know what that means. Best player on the worst team ever? Michael Carter Williams won Rookie of the Year on a really bad Sixers team. What, the least popular team in the NBA? I'd say the Pelicans.
You think?
Yeah. The Hornets. Make the music with your mouth biz on normal bump day, Steve. Can't go wrong with Paulie's normal bumps. You a little shocked that Filardi sounds like he's going to be getting the starty.
It does sound like that.
The Filardi
I wouldn't
starty.
say I'm shocked. We talked about this last week. I think he could have, you could make a case for all three of them, right? Because I think we still believe Ricky gives him the best chance to win. If that's what's important, if he believes Joe Filardi might be the backup quarterback next year, then of course you want to give him snaps, as many as possible. Luke Carney, he's got one more game to play. I've thought all along it was going to be the BC game. He said he'll play this week, and then he kind of backtracked and then said he's got one more game. We're preserving his red shirt, so he'll play either this week or next week. My guess is he's going to play BC. So I think this is probably Joe Filardi's game. It doesn't. I can't say that. I'm not surprised by anything at the quarterback position right now. I mean, we've seen him change, quarterbacks several times this year and go back to guys and give guys other chances. And so I think it is what it is. I think they're getting another look at Filardi and maybe hoping he can be the backup.
Would you say the points were 35 points?
Yeah.
Dogs? Well, who cares? It's a Filardi party. It's South Bend.
He pointed out the 20 freshmen who played last game, and 17 of those true freshmen. They have, clearly turned the page to next year, obviously, as they should.
Yes.
I know he wasn't saying that publicly. Now he's able to do that because they're eliminated from bowl contention. But this bye, it I'm sure allowed them to kind of turn the page, maybe even more than they already had. And so, if he wants to throw the freshman out there to start the game at quarterback, I don't have an issue with it.
See how he does in the big screen.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's gotten better. I said this about Ricky. You got to give him a chance to grow into the position. See if he does it, and maybe, you got a guy who's going to be on your bench for a while.
And honestly, we talked about, well, why did he make the move at North Carolina? And maybe he made the move in the North Carolina game with this game in mind. We said all along, at least I was saying all along, I didn't think that his first start would be at Miami or Notre Dame. I thought that would be unfair to throw him in as a, sacrificial lamb, so to speak. And by giving him the start against North Carolina, he's already experienced that once. He got in at the end of the Miami game. So, this would be his third experience in a college game. So, maybe the decision for who's going to start against Notre Dame was actually made several weeks ago when he started against North Carolina. That is possible.
Yeah. And the weather looks decent in South Bend this weekend. Just doing a little Google search there. Looks like it's going to be 48 and partly cloudy. Go to Scooter.
Thanks for that weather update.
You
5
got
days in advance.
You got a young quarterback, Steve. You don't want him out there throwing it in the wind,
sure,
in the snow, in the sleet, and the rain. Jeez.
Wasn't that when
people a little heads up?
When Greg Robinson and
it was snowing.
Yeah, I was going to say, so maybe snow's not a bad thing. It tends to make the favorite a little bit less of a favorite if it's snowing. Anyway, Scooter in Jamesville. What's up, Scooter?
Well, Paulie, you sounded surprised they're 35, but remember when they did Miami 2 weeks ago, they were 28.5. So it's not much of a surprise to be if Miami's 28.5. Now you're playing Notre Dame. It was basically style of points. They had 3 or 4 games this week where you know that you kind of have to run the score up because they're not going to obviously be in a conference championship, so they don't get the automatic bid, so they have to look impressively. You look at a team like James Madison, I thought that was the lock of the day where they were playing Appalachian State and they were fighting for that non-power 4 and they scored 58. So Notre Dame, if they can score a lot of points, I don't know if they'd be able to, like you said about the weather, but 35 is... Yeah, it's about normal. And maybe you get the hook ball and you can still save your animals and you have to take the 35. So
I think I will.
See what happens. But hey, by the way, you're actually an inspiration to a company, Paulie. You're talking about Lights on the Lake, which starts today, and you don't really want the date thing, but you want to drive through Lights on the Lake. You said you wanted to pick up somebody at the beginning and then drop them up at the end. There's a company that's going to rent out mannequins. So you can put them in your car so it looks like you got another person in the car. So.
So like when you can drive in those HOV lanes and whatnot.
Yeah, that's exactly right, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
if you're using it as a date, you're a creep.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I'm saying. He said you didn't want a date. You remember that. You just want to pick up somebody at the beginning of the lights and drop them off at Long Branch. So.
Yeah, I don't want a mannequin. I'm not that desperate yet.
All right, well.
Thank you for you for offering. No, that was... Maybe you could DM me that website.
Yeah, no, there you go. I figured you're going to put the dog in the front seat, so the mannequin would be in the back seat anyway. So,
all right, tonight is the first night. Thank you, Scooter. You got 2 charities, $5 tickets, 22 until there's none. Committed to ending suicide among veterans, and Syracuse Grows pledging to build local. Urban agriculture in the area. So those are the 2 charities getting money tonight, and then tomorrow is the Doggy Drive-Through charity night. And of course, I can't go because there's a Syracuse game.
Well, it's a 9:00 game. Maybe you could go right at 5.
No, I have to work, Steve.
How far in advance you got to be there?
I got to do my job here too, Steve. I work to 5 here, and then I go up there and work.
Gotcha.
I ain't got time for lights on. I don't have time. I have to go on a day off.
Okay. All right. I was just trying to help you fit it in for Indy because it is a late game tomorrow.
Yeah, where the hell are they playing at 9? That's a good question, Govendo.
Everything's for TV. Right?
Yeah,
Everything's for TV purposes. All right, let's hit a timeout. We should mention, just talking about our takeaways from Fran. He did drop in Jeff Nixon, Elijah Robinson. Both will be back next year. Which
it sounded confident.
Yeah, he didn't skip a beat saying that.
I think that means he wants him back.
Yeah,
I don't know that it will necessarily
Well, he had just talked about changes will be made, right? He just said that, and then Chris Carlson followed up with will those 2 guys be back? And without skipping a beat, yeah, they'll be back. So if they leave, it sounds like it'll be on their own accord, and as you would expect. All right, we'll take a time out here. Today's business coming up on the other side. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
We're way behind. Why do people bother me while I'm on the air? Who's bothering you? Anybody. Anybody. You know me. I'm on the air. It's a win-win.
Boss Sandwich, you're saying if do I want to walk back my pick that SU will beat BC? No, I think SU's beating BC. I watched a lot of that Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is, I don't know. I feel like nobody in this conference is good. Miami's the best team. But, yes, I did see that. BC played inspired. It was senior day.
Red Bandana Day didn't help.
Yeah, it didn't help you, right?
I am freezing. God damn, this studio's cold. We've had the window open all day, too. That's illegal, I thought.
Oh, yeah?
Apparently it's not having any effect on the broadcast.
Yeah, Philly for sure. Yes, I listen. Do I think SU's going to win by 20? No, but I do think they have to be better than BC.
You don't have to be anything, Steve.
No, I don't know. I feel like it's senior day. It's their last game. I don't think they're going to end their season on a 8-game losing streak.
We got to be quick today because we have that stupid thing you make me do every day.
Not even. Like the end of last week, he was complaining. And it wasn't even a full week. I know, exactly.
If I'm not getting paid for it, I can bitch about it.
I told you can stop at any time.
I'm not going to stop because then I won't have something to bitch about.
Yeah, that's fair, Philly. I'm not sure there's a good matchup for Syracuse right now, especially if Florida's going to play.
ESPN Radio Syracuse.
Or
Is brought to you by DVOffers.com, powered by Drivers Village Cicero. ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1. ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com.
This is Orange Nation.
Oh, another banger from Run DMC.
Did you handpick these today?
No.
Oh, okay, this is just random?
These are the bumps that we used to use prior to the artist of the day.
We have so many of them, though. It's all been rap today.
Yeah, there was a lot of rap.
Just randomly for us to hit 6 for 6, I'm enjoying this.
Okay. I know what I'm doing, Steve, believe it or not. Speaking of knowing what they're doing, let's go to someone who doesn't. Tim Leonard.
Wow, that hurts.
He'll change his tune in the next segment when he teases you up for what's on your show later.
I've been salty today. He has been salty. I hung up on that was low key funny. I don't care what anybody says. I hung up on Mario Sacco.
I hung up on someone on the post game show too. So usually you're the one who hangs up on people. I was doing it.
I saw that clip. You're just like, I'm not going to tolerate this. We're having good vibes today.
Yeah.
They won. Shut up.
The defenses look great. We don't need to nitpick the defense yet. Today's business brought to you by Superior Plus Propane. By the way, the men's soccer team is going dancing. They just announced they're going to be actually hosting in the NCAA tournament first round against Hofstra. So Hofstra went 12-5 on the season. That game will be Thursday. I would assume it's a night game, but Thursday at the SU Soccer Stadium for the first round game against Hofstra. Good to see that Ian McIntyre's squad did get the bid. We expected that. And good to see they're hosting. It seems like they should be favored in that game.
Yeah, I didn't know how much the fact that they lost the semis in the manner in which they lost the semis. I didn't know how that would affect their seeding, whether or not they would host. But I was hoping that they would still get in as well, Tim, and they did, and they deserve it. I mean, they're playing great soccer over the course of the last month, minus that performance in the ACC semis against SMU, and hopefully they got that bad game out of their system, and they can start fresh on Thursday against Hofstra.
SMU did go on to win the ACC championship, so I think SMU is also just playing really good soccer at the minute as well. As for other games that stood out over the weekend, We haven't talked a ton about this. Houston did get a pretty good win over Auburn, basically a road game. They played the game in Birmingham, and they won by 1. It was 73-72 beating Auburn. So that's kind of the biggest test that Houston will face before playing Syracuse. It's not as if Houston is a complete juggernaut to this point in the season, but I mean, they got a very quality win over Auburn, and Auburn had several chances on the final possession and could not score.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, they're number 1 in Ken Pom for a reason. And, I think if you want to see how good this team is right now, to Paulie's point earlier, if Syracuse loses this game, I don't think it's, certainly it's not the end of the world, but I think it's a good litmus test for this is where you are, and this is what the gap is between where you are and the best teams in the country.
The other thing that stood out to me about that was Auburn got 72 points.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. It's Auburn, though. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a high-level team, but yes, that is a good sign.
It looks like Syracuse is going to face a lot of really good defenses over the next couple of weeks. I mean, Kansas, I believe, has a top 15 defense on Ken Pom. Tennessee has a top 15 defense. We know that game is out of the Vegas tournament when they come back home in the ACC SEC Challenge. Kansas, by the way, seems like they might be without arguably their best player, Darren Peterson, who could be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft next year. Peterson has not played recently after he dropped 22 points on UNC when Kansas lost that game. Bill Self was asked about him and kind of said, we don't really know right now, but he's not going to be coming back anytime in the short term, it seems like.
Just to get back to your point, Tennessee's 5th in Ken Pom right now defensively. Kansas is 11th.
Yeah. And Houston's what? Like 1?
Houston is number 1.
Yeah.
Duke is the only other SU opponent in the top 20. They are 9th. And then everybody else in the ACC falls outside the top 20. Georgia Tech would be next in line from an ACC perspective. But obviously, it's early, small sample size.
Alphabet Guy says, are we looking past Monmouth? We would not have been doing this last year. Yeah, no, I don't think the team is. We are.
Yeah, we definitely are.
What are we going to break down King Race's coaching record? Let's go.
Yeah. I think it's fair, and I think we've all, to some degree, been looking past these first 4 games for several months, right? Because we said all along that no matter what they do, and it's been very impressive, obviously, what they've done, but we've said this all along, no matter what they do, we're not truly going to get a gauge of where this team is until they go to Vegas, and I think that's still the case, even though they've blown out these first 3 teams.
That's also how I feel about the Orange women's basketball team, but they are also kind of doing what the men's team is doing and winning against an easy schedule in about the most impressive way you can. They played Wagner yesterday at home. I was expecting them to dominate Wagner. They completely dominated them. 78-29 was the final score. First time holding an opponent under 30 points for the Orange women since 2014. I would have to think if you combine the average points allowed for the men's team and the women's team, Syracuse has to be leading the country right now in basketball. I mean, the women are giving up 49 points per game, which is 19th in the country. The men still leading the country in terms of points they're giving up per game. I think it's 46.5 for the men right now. So, again, similar conversation. They're going to have a true test this week. They'll play Utah Friday. Then they'll play Michigan on Sunday. Michigan just beat the brakes off of Notre Dame and Hannah Hidalgo, and they're a ranked team that's probably going to climb up in the polls. That'll be an interesting game for Layla Filia, one of the Orange's best players, going against her former team. That's Sunday at noon, but the first game in this holiday tournament from Mohegan Sun is Friday at 5 p.m. against Utah.
For what it's worth, I was just looking up the projections for the net rankings. Obviously, the first net ranking is not out yet. Comes out in early December. The projections, though, have Syracuse 48th in what they would be, again, if they put everything together at this
the
moment.
Net ranking
That's the men's
projections.
team, you're saying.
The
right?
men's team, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Just throwing that out there while you were talking about the women. And, very impressive start for Felicia Leggett Jack squad. And we were talking about forcing turnovers early in the show. That's, a big thing for what we're seeing out of this women's team as well. They're forcing all these turnovers. They're scoring off turnovers. Do you think it's sustainable for, obviously, that's the way they want to play. Will they be able to do that against, Utah and Michigan, for instance?
I think they are a much better defensive team from last year. I can confidently say that. I think they have better pieces to be a good defensive team. I'm not so sure that, Wagner is, just watching Wagner yesterday, they're bottom of the barrel in terms of the entire Division I right now. So you can't take too much away from that. I think they have started the season about how I would have expected, maybe slightly better than I would have expected. But Utah is going to be favored over them, I would guess, and Michigan will definitely be favored over them. So it'll be interesting. They're going to come back home. They're going to play Auburn in the SEC Challenge. I believe that's December 3rd. That's the type of game that will be sort of a tossy-uppy game, as Paulie says. So I wouldn't be that surprised if they go 0-2 in this tournament, but I think they are a much better team compared to last year's team.
I just looked on Bracket Matrix, Steve. Syracuse not appearing on anybody's bracket.
Okay, all right. Do you have a kicker for us?
I do.
I'm hesitant to ask.
I'm not going to do what I.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to do what I said I was going to do.
Okay, good.
Okay, because this music doesn't fit.
Yeah,
what you said you were going to do.
Higher or lower? Yeah. Let's guess this. The American. I got to get this right. The American Christmas Tree Association released its results, stating that what percentage of American households will have artificial trees this year?
It's got to be a high number. 77%.
Okay.
Wow, that's high. I'm going to go lower.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. Lower than that. I'll go 60.
83% of households decorating.
Tim.
It's a pretty good guess.
Yeah.
That is a very good guess.
Yeah. You're one of the few, Steve, left, right? You guys going to go...
I have been cutting down a real Christmas tree since I was a kid, and I will do that until I can no longer perform that task.
Yeah, I'm surprised you still can. Did you make Kim carry the
I cut
tree
it down. I do everything. And
Do you have to cut a little bit on one side, then shift to the other side so your neck doesn't?
No, I just do. You know what?
Shouldn't have said that.
No, that's a good one.
It's a valid question. It's a valid question.
That's a good burn.
It's not fun on the neck, but I get through it.
Yeah, I did that once for a girl, and I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
It
I
is
looked into
expensive.
it last year, and I was like, I'm just getting a fake tree. It's too expensive.
So I think I told this story. I cut the tree down, and the girl lost the ticket.
Yeah.
So I had to literally drag the tree because they wouldn't let us on the tram because we didn't have the ticket. Brutal. Freezing. No, I do
bah humbug.
I do a tree downstairs and a tree upstairs.
So you have two. So
I got a fake tree downstairs and upstairs. Yeah, because I just didn't throw out my old one.
Yeah. So you're bringing the average up then, up to 83. Yeah. That was a good guess, Tim. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, we'll hit our final timeout. We'll wrap things up next on ESPN Radio.
It's Orange Nation.
Let's see him play
Now
against
I gotta
see if we
how
can
it
translate to Power 4 basketball.
I had a basketball coach growing up that always used to say, don't get too high, don't get too low.
You just got to stay low.
I think it's okay for fans to get excited.
Yeah, they've done what they're supposed to do. Like you did today. When your battery was dead, you came to work. And like the guys who actually get paid to fix your battery, they did their job.
Orange Nation, noon to 2. ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
You're
Bam! Central New York, Mike G with Mark Zakar from Great Lakes Honda City. Shazam!
Not only are we your two-year President Award winner and award for customer satisfaction for sales and service, but this month we're your location for the Honda event where you'll find great deals on all your new Hondas.
Zoinks! There it is! With over 200 new Hondas available during the Honda event, Great Lakes Honda City is the place to shop for your next new Honda.
Start your process with us today in Liverpool or at GreatLakesHondaCity.com.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus price lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
It's going to start. You think that moves the line more towards
apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15
Pretty
bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
Hi, I'm Jason
It wasn't that
Hansen,
long ago
a
he
former
said you
CIA
shouldn't put him
officer.
out there
In these
against
uncertain
UNC at
times,
home.
with
Now
rising
you're gonna throw
geopolitical
him out there on
tensions
the
and
road.
skyrocketing inflation, protecting your financial future is crucial. That's why I trust Advantage Gold for all my precious metal investments. They're the only company I buy from, period.
Had a
Call
couple
Advantage
more
Gold
weeks to
now at
practice, I
800-900-8000 for a 100% free gold guide. See exactly how gold can safeguard your wealth. Again, call 800-900-8000 today.
Paid for by Advantage Gold. Performance maker. Past performance is not indicative of future
I
results.
got to get
Always
the
consult a financial and
broadcast
tax
out of
professional.
there. I don't get to
Which
like take
values
it.
do you look for in an accountant? Trust, experience,
Someone who understands there's no one-size-fits-all tax solution. Hi, this is Adam Panic, CPA and partner at Grossman St. Moore CPAs. We've been educating ourselves and our clients for over 28 years on how to navigate the ever-changing maze of tax laws. In today's economy, it's important to know how these changes apply to your own tax situation. I encourage you to take control of your taxes
We didn't
this
find
year.
your doppelganger,
St.
Sioux Falls,
CPAs help
though,
you.
remember?
Visit us online at gsacpas.com.
It's not 2026 yet, but our 0% financing offer is here now on new 2026 Nissan Rogues at McGuire Nissan of Syracuse. Get a brand new Rogue, any trim level in stock, and get 0% financing for 60 months. This is absolutely the buy of the year. If you go anywhere else, you'll be offered a leftover 2025 model, not at McGuire. See us and drive home in a new 2026 Rogue with 0% financing for 5 years. Get to McGuire Nissan of Syracuse now and get your new 2026 Rogue and save thousands with 0% financing for 60 months. When you buy now, you get the best selection. You get Nissan's most popular 2026 model, and you get 0% financing for 60 months. It's a win-win-win. 2026 Rogue, all trim levels, now with 0%. Exclusively from McGuire Nissan of Syracuse at 716 West Genesee Street. Don't miss out. McGuire Nissan of Syracuse.com.
But
you could get out. Full details.
No, I can't. I don't want.
Hey, it's
no,
Rick.
that's
We're back
soft.
at Pawn
That's-
Pro
I'm not
on Erie
soft.
Boulevard East. Maybe you've got some gold or some silver jewelry that
Do
you've
my
just
job,
discovered.
Steve,
Maybe
whether I
belong
like it
to
or not.
a relative, and you're
I
not
get
sure
in the
what
car
it's
and I
worth, and you might
go.
want to sell it. Bring it into
Even if I
Pawn
was
Pro. They
flying,
can
I'd be
actually
like, oh, now
appraise
I
it
gotta
for you
fly
right on the
and turn
spot, tell
around.
you what you
Yeah,
have. If you want to
I'm
sell it to
still
them, they'll
going.
give you top dollar for it. They pay more than just about anywhere else. I'm here.
This whole time.
Nobody heard any of that?
They probably heard a little bit.
I was just arguing with Steve. Nobody cares. Here they are again because I got to go.
We have high-end casual. We have sport watches. You can get the battery
gonna play
replaced here,
McAllister?
cleaning adjustments, and some good advice on what to do with your watch. We can help authenticate high-end designer Rolex, things like that. And we're a full-service watch store where
all we have.
the collection and the hobby
luckily
of
we do
watches is more popular than ever.
See what you can find at Pawn Pro on Erie Boulevard East. Online at pawnpro.com.
From that
Listen to ESPN Radio Syracuse for your chance to win tickets to SU games and concerts. The Charles Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical Ticket Window. ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com.
This is Orange Nation.
You want to just do this again tomorrow? Regular bump?
I've enjoyed it today.
Big Daddy Kane, bro. We're going, actually.
We are going. Do you have an artist of the day, or we just?
We can vote. You've got the following: Nirvana, Jay-Z, Johnny Cash, John Lennon, Queen, LL Cool J, Queen, John Lennon. Did I say Johnny Cash?
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Nirvana. That's a good list.
It is a good list, and I was all set to vote Johnny Cash. I don't know that we've ever done him before.
Yeah, we have.
We have?
Because you told us a story about your grandparents' house or something.
Oh, you're right. I did.
Bored us all
That
with
was a long
once.
time
Good memory, Paulie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all of his. He tugs at our
He's a
hearts.
brother of yours. So.
He tugs at our heartstrings. Yeah, we have the same grandparents. How would I not know that story?
I have to go with LL, though, as much as I want Johnny Cash again.
Tim?
I mean, he's basically a friend of the program, isn't he?
I'll just ride with Steve. I owe him a vote, and I was already kind of thinking LL Cool J.
There you go. So,
how about
1985.
I wasted my vote then?
I feel like you did because he was going LL.
LL Cool
I'll give you
J.
another.
You guys are
Sorry.
cheating. This is LL Cool J releases his debut album, Radio. The first ever album issued on what record label, Steve?
On what record label? What record label was it?
Well, you tell me.
With Def Jam?
Yes.
It was. Okay.
Congratulations.
I thought it was a trick question. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. The first album on Def Jam was Radio.
All right, we got to go real quick. Tim, what do you got coming up tonight?
I'm going to talk a little bit about Fran Brown's decision, it seems like, to roll with Joe Filardi. A little surprised by that. So we'll dive into that and my takeaways from the basketball game. Taking your phone calls 5 to 6 p.m. for drive time.
That's right. And you will not be a 35-point underdog at anything you ever do in your life, Tim. You're so good.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we got to go. Thanks for listening, everybody. For Tim, for Paulie, I'm Steve. We'll talk to you again noon tomorrow.
And Michelle are